welcome back to the Julie the Knitter podcast. This is episode 36, and welcome back to anybody who is coming back for some more, because I am just so irresistible and you can't keep away, obviously. Or hi, and welcome to anybody who is just finding us for the first time. And I'm talking about us because I have my dog sitting right here. I don't know if you can hear it, but every now and again you got a little bit of pops of fireworks going on in the background. We're getting to that time of the year, and my dog does not love it very much. So she is trying not to jump into my lap at the moment. So anyway, if you're just finding us for the first time, this is a podcast mainly about knitting, but I talk about anything that my little crafty heart happens to be getting into. So I'm glad you found us. And we're coming to you from Queens, New York, where I live with my crazy dog and my two wild and crazy kids. So, hi, it's June. How did this happen? What a crazy year we have had. Crazy. I'm sure that you are all, well, actually, I don't know where you all are, so I hope that wherever you are staying safe and that you are not sick with the coronavirus. And I know that a lot of places are starting to open up. Here in Queens, we are the last area of New York to be entering phase 1. We are part of New York City, so we just entered phase 1 earlier this week, whereas the rest of New York State has been way ahead of us. So there's not really much that's changed over in my neck of the woods around here. But there has been plenty of crafting in the meantime, because when you're not going out and doing stuff, you're sitting home and Netflixing? Binging Netflix and doing your knitting. So that's what we've been up to over here. Hi, Saoirse. I know, I love you too. Get down. So I'm going to talk all about what I've been up to. I've got a few finished things. Not all of them are knitting. Surprise. So I do have, I'm getting a little wild here. Bear with me. So I do have a few finished objects. I'm going to start with this little piece here that I showed you a little bit last time, that I just started. I think I had just gotten some of the leaves done. But this is an embroidery piece because I have been loving embroidery lately. It is one of my new favorite things. I love how you can just pick it up and go. You don't have to worry about getting to the end of the row. You just do a stitch here, a stitch there, and it's good. You just put it down. It's brilliant. And it's nice this time of the year because you don't have this big woolly thing sitting in your lap, which is nice. This one, it was a kit that I had gotten quite some time ago from Cozy Blue Handmade, and she puts together these great kits that basically have everything that you need in them. It comes with the pattern is pre-printed onto the fabric. She sends you the embroidery floss, a needle, the hoop, and Bob's your uncle. All you got to do is sit down and stitch away. Now, as I'm pretty new to embroidery, I don't know how to do most of the stitches, so I usually have to YouTube things and figure it out. And I did. So this one, you can see it says, show up, be true, be kind, keep going. Which, although they are very poignant words for our family, they do seem to strike a chord with everything that is going on in the world right now. Sorry, I feel like I have a little bit of hair or fuzz right on my nose. I'm a little itchy. But guys, with everything that's going on in the world, just don't be an asshole. That's all you have to do. Show up, be true, be kind, keep going. And that's my PSA for you guys today. But yeah, so there was a lot of different stitches. I did the satin stitch, which was really nice. It was cool. There was some colonial knots, some straight stitches, back stitch, some whipped back stitch, this woven wheel, which gives you this little, I don't know if you can see it all that well, this flower and knots and all kinds of crazy stuff. I really enjoyed it. I really really been enjoying working on it. And my daughter has been interested. I noticed her eyeing me as I was working on it a few weeks ago, and she's like, "Oh, what you doing?" I'm like, "You want to try?" She's like, "Yeah." Yes. And she gave it a little try. So she actually helped me with some of the dark green leaves. And it was really cool to have her help me out on that, because I don't want to push too hard to get her crafting. She's artsy in her own way. She's actually a really, really good drawer. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler, but give me something to do with my hands and I can do it. But yeah, so it was nice that she helped me out a little bit on this. I did start a new piece, but I really haven't gotten very far into it, so I'm not going to bring it out. I'll talk about it a little bit more next time, because there really isn't much to see at this point. So there, that's my embroidery finished object. But Julia, I thought this was a podcast about knitting. Well, yes it is, and I do have some knitting to show you. I have a knitting finished object to show you. I probably should have grabbed my blockers, but I didn't, so you're out of luck. I'm not going to go get them, because I didn't actually block these yet, so they're, I don't know, they're socks. You don't really have to block socks, but they look nice, especially for the podcast. But this is a pattern by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, and it is the Cornish cream tea socks. I think last time I tried to remember the name of the pattern and I totally didn't get it right. But Cornish cream tea socks. And this was part of her Secret Sock Society a round ago. I think she's on the 3rd round of these, and then maybe it was part of the 2nd one. I don't know. But the pattern's been out for a little while, needless to say. And I had been wanting to cast it on for quite some time, and it's a really, really nice pattern. I usually really love the look of Helen Stewart's patterns, and I cast them on, and I usually, as I'm going through them, I get kind of tired of them and I'm ready for them to be done. They're always gorgeous. They always come out beautifully, and the patterns are really nicely written, and I like the way she kind of gives you a percentage of, like, at this row you've gotten 55% of the pattern done, or what have you. And I like that. So I guess, if you are looking to weigh out your yarn to make sure you have enough yarn, you kind of know where you stand with things. This pattern, I will say, was the exception. I did not get bored. I even knit my socks one at a time, which I never do. Well, actually, that's not true. I have been doing it more often than not lately, but I did them one at a time. And the yarn that I used is by Lofty Loops in her, I believe it's the Quartz colorway. Let me see if I can get the tag real quick. Yes. Lofty Loops in her Quartz colorway on her Lofty Glitz base, which is a 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 5% silver stellina. Who doesn't love a little sparkle? Especially in the socks. I love it. So you see it's this nice little, like, mauvey pink. I think it's showing up slightly pinker on camera. And it's got these little, like, oranger speckles. It's not as, it's showing up much more brighter on camera, but, and there's a little sparkle. The pattern itself has this really cool, I don't want to say feather and fan because it's not feather and fan, but there's increases and decreases. So you get this nice little shape. Do you hear those fireworks? The dog's going crazy. And there's a little cable going along the side, and this goes all the way to the front of the leg, down to the foot. And you have a nice little wedge toe. The back is plain stockinette with a heel flap and gusset, which is the way I like my heels. That's the way they fit my foot the best. What can I say? The pattern, I really didn't make too many changes. The only change I did make was I knit my cuff a little bit longer. I think, what did you call it for? I added an extra 6 rows to it just because I like my cuff a little bit longer. But anyway, I have 1 sock, not 2 socks. And it's definitely not woolly sock weather right now. We've been, actually today is gorgeous. Today it's maybe about 70 degrees and not humid at all. It was absolutely gorgeous. We spent a lot of time outside today. But the last few days have been really muggy. It's been in the 80s. It's just disgusting. But I don't love the hot weather. I like the fall. The fall is my favorite because, you know, it's not too cold. You don't really have to worry about snow where we are. And there you go. I'm really all over the place today. Bear with me. So anyway, so I knit these socks up. They're gorgeous. I can't wait to wear them. Not in any rush or cold weather, but I like a good pair of knit socks. So these were a dream to knit up. I really enjoyed them. If you haven't knit this pattern, go. Don't walk, run and go grab this pattern because it was really nice. It was engaging enough where you're kind of doing something a little bit different every row, but it's a memorizable pattern, so you don't have to think too hard because you know it's going to come next. And it was good. I really enjoyed it. But as far as knitting goes, that's really all the knitting I've been doing. I finished those up. I probably finished them about 2 weeks ago, with the exception of grafting the toe on the second sock. I just did that this morning. I just had no desire to pick it up and finish the toe, which is so unlike me. But I don't know, I feel like my knitting mojo is a little on the low side right now, which I don't know why it is, but you know, sometimes that's just the way it goes. As soon as I cast those off though, I did have every intention of casting on the Vivien Halter by Ponder and Ply. Now, if you guys have not heard of her, Molly has this podcast, and she's great. She's from England. I want to say she's from London, but I could be completely wrong, so don't quote me. She's from England. She has this wild aesthetic, and I love it. She's so kind of vintage, Bridget Bardot style. That's what I think of when I see her. She's just got this big style that's very 1960s sexpat, and I love it. But she just put out this pattern called the Vivien Halter, and it's a little cropped halter. I'm like, as if you could see where my hands are. That's got these little windows, boob windows. I don't know what else to call them, but it's really cute. And I went to go, here, I'll show you a picture because I have it printed out. That's the pattern. I went to go do my gauge swatch, my swatch for my gauge, and I was having no luck. The pattern does call for fingering weight yarn, but it can also be knit up in DK weight, and I guess you use the same gauge. I think the difference is like the density of the fabric. And I was doing my gauge out of this beautiful yarn by Woolberry Fiber Company. And this is on her Berry Cashmere base in her Serene colorway. And this is an 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon base. And it's this nice, it's like a bluish green. And it's got some darker speckles in there. You can kind of see a little bit of that there. I did try my gauge swatch in the size 3 needle, which the pattern calls for. And I really loved the fabric that I was getting, but it's too small. I was probably about an inch off, close to it, maybe not quite an inch, but maybe 3/4 of an inch off, and that's gonna throw off the whole pattern. So I went up to a size 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put little garter bumps to to let me know what needle size it was. To a size 5, and which is 2 needles bigger, and I'm still under where I wanted to be. I think I was a 1/4 of an inch short now, and I think I would have had to go up to a 6 or a 7 to get gauge, and at that point I think that the fabric would be too loose for my liking. So I think I'm going to try it again, either holding 2 strands of fingering weight double or do a DK weight. So that's kind of where I'm at. I really want to wear it. I want to be working on it, but I don't want to be spending all my days doing gauge swatches, because I don't love doing gauge swatches, because you gotta do them, especially when you do them in the round. It's frustrating. And then you gotta wash them, and then you gotta wait for them to dry, and I just don't want to do it. And I gotta wind the yarn to do it, and I haven't done that. So that's the other thing that's holding me up. I just don't feel like winding the yarn. I don't know. I don't know. My knitting mojo right now is not there. But that's all the knitting that I have to tell you about today. I do have a few other things though. So it's been a while since I've shown you my granny stripe blanket, and lately it has been my favorite thing to work on. Why in this 80, 90 degree humid weather do I want to have this huge ass blanket sitting on my lap? I don't know. There's probably something wrong with me. But I've actually been kind of keeping it to the side of me and kind of going, but I don't know what it is about the summer weather. It always makes me want to crochet. I usually gravitate toward crochet, usually towards the granny stripe blanket in this weather. So I don't know why that is. It just is. So I'm rolling with it. So let's see. If you are just joining us and you have never seen this before, I cast this on. It's probably 2 years that I'm working on it now. And it is. It's like I am crocheting like yarn scraps, leftovers from projects or mini skeins into this blanket. And I initially cast it on. I don't know if that's what you say when you crochet. If you hook on, if you hooked it, I don't know. But anyway, I put on, it's 300 something stitches across. I made it wide enough to fit onto my queen size bed. And at this point, lengthwise, I think I'm about half, maybe just under half of as long as I want it to be. I'd like it to be able to fit on my bed as a blanket. Whether or not I'll use it for that, or just, a blanket that we could all snuggle up under, because we like to do that, remains to be seen. But yeah, that's the backstory here. So let's see. I'll show you where I was last time, because I put quite a bit of a dent in here. It's pretty big. You're not going to be able to see the whole thing on here. It's very colorful because there's all kinds of stuff in here. But this is where I was the last time I showed it to you, and it's probably been 6 months since I showed this to you. But it's probably about 12 inches. Maybe a little under that, but close, since I last showed it off. So that's here where the marker is. So, there's some different colors in there, and I've just been really enjoying working on it. And you can see all the way down to the bottom. It just keeps going, I know. But yeah, so that's that. So it's pretty long at this point, and it's very wide. I would say it does take me a little while to get all the way across. But I've just been really enjoying working on that, and it's just feels good. So I actually would love to have this finished for this winter. Yeah, probably winter. I can't imagine. At the momentum, at the rate that I've been going, I think that's a doable goal to have it done for this winter. There are other scrappy blankets that I'd like to cast on, like the Habitation Throw by Helen Stewart, and I think, now I forget, Shenanigans maybe put it out, the Northeasterly blanket, and it's got like these chevrons that you knit, and I would love to cast that on, but I can't bring myself to do another scrappy blanket until this one's finished. But I think usually what keeps me from working on that is having to stop and wind up mini skeins. So the other night I got a whole bunch of skeins and I wound them up into a huge center pole cake. They're all like match knotted at the ends of each other, so I just kind of keep going, and now there's no stopping me now. But here you can kind of see some of the colors. I was trying to go kind of like lighter, darker, lighter, darker. I decided, now that I'm like nearing the halfway point of this, I decided to start color managing. How long that'll last, I don't know, but it's just, anyway. So you see some of the colors. So right now I'm working on this, it's like a bluish color, and it's got these purple streaks, and there's some reds and yellows, like most of them are speckled kind of color, except this one's like this really dark navy blue. Anyway, I really like the way that looks, and that's where my heart's been the last few days. So that's that is my granny stripe blanket. I am working on that on a G hook. This is a 4mm hook. It's got this nice ergonomic rubbery handle. It's supposed to feel better. I do find that I crochet quicker with it. But yeah, so that's that. I also have some sewing to show you. I know, it's been a while since I broke out my sewing machine. It took me a while actually to get this all done, because I cut the fabric and I cut the pattern pieces back in March before everything shut down, and then it just kind of sat there for a little while. I don't know exactly why, but I just kind of didn't get around to picking it up. So when I did eventually sit down to work on it, it actually sewed up really quickly, and it was very simple. The pattern is the Brooklyn skirt, which was put out by Colette Patterns in their Seamwork collection. Seamwork is kind of like a monthly e-magazine that they put out, and each month there's 2 patterns included in the magazine with all kinds of different articles. Sometimes they have different people writing in, and it's actually really nice. It's a good, you learn a lot. It's not like How to Sew magazine, but you kind of learn a lot about what's going on in industry, how to hack different patterns. There's always some kind of something of interest in there. It's actually a really nicely put together thing. But anyway, it is a half circle skirt with this, I don't want to call it a box pleat, but I think box pleat is like the back opposite. But anyway, so it's got a nice little pleat in the front. It is, I don't know how to really show this off, but let's see if we go this way. If I step out here, I could walk backwards. Maybe you can see it a little better. Yeah, so it's a little bit above my knee, and it's got a nice little twirl. I love it. The fabric is a double gauze in this great Kelly green, And I had actually used a very similar fabric to knit up my son's Halloween costume 2 years ago when he was Catboy from PJ Masks. And it just doesn't have much stretch to it, but it doesn't feel heavy, and it's, I don't know, it actually works really well with the skirt. I like the color a lot, and I put in an invisible zipper in the back. Let's see if we can see it. Yeah, you can kind of see it. See, there's the zipper. It is probably the best zipper I've ever put in. I hate putting in zippers because I always run into some kind of issue. But this zipper, I don't know whether it just finally, after years of trying to fight the zipper, it finally clicked and I was able to get it in, and it went in pretty smoothly, which anytime something goes in smoothly when I'm knitting, when I'm sewing, it usually is a harbinger of disaster. So, sewing, I don't know what it is. I like sewing, but there's always a lot of unladylike language that goes into it. I usually wind up having to rip things out 10 times. But this skirt was just smooth sailing from start to finish. I loved it. The pleat came together very well. The fabric behaved itself. The zipper went in effortlessly. The only thing that I did, maybe I should have done differently, is the pattern tells you how to do a blind hem, and it would make the hem on the bottom a little less noticeable. I did get to I think it was late at that point because usually when I sew it's after my kids go to bed, and I was tired. I'm like, I just wanted to be done so I can wear it. So I did not do a blind hem because I didn't want to have to work that hard and figure out how to do it. So I just did a straight stitch across, and oh no, I didn't. I did a zigzag stitch, and it's fine. but yeah, so I have a sewing finished object, I've got a knitting finished object, I've got an embroidery finished object. There you go. And maybe when I talk to you next time, I'll have more to work on. I hope to be not having this knitting funk forever. It's not gonna last forever. It probably won't last much longer. I just have to wind some yarn and do it. That's really what it is. I just don't feel like winding yarn. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I hope you guys are all doing okay. Have you been working on anything fun? Let me know. I hope to be casting on this Vivien halter soon because it's very summery and I want to wear it, and I think it would look really nice with the skirt that I'm wearing. And I actually, oh, you know what? I actually cut out the pattern for another pattern today, or a sewing pattern. It's the Lune dress, Lune, by French Poetry. And that is a maxi length dress, and it's got a v-neck in front and a v-neck in the back and a zipper, and it's very simple. And I'm debating between two fabric choices at the moment. I have this really beautiful green linen blend, but I think it might be too plain for this dress. Then I have this black floral, which I'm thinking, but then I'm sitting here, well, is that going to be too busy? So I'm kind of debating back and forth which to pick. I think I'm going to go with the black floral. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. But yeah, so I cut out the pattern pieces this afternoon, and I plan on cutting out the fabric maybe tomorrow. Yeah, maybe tomorrow, or at least sometime this week. That's my plan. So I hope you guys all have a nice week. I hope you're enjoying nice weather wherever you are. We are finishing up school this week. Well, Dermot, my son, he had his last day of pre-K, I guess you could say, on Friday, which was yesterday. And we've been doing a lot of remote learning. I do not love remote learning. And I think my kids have reached their limits, because 5 minutes into his Zoom call yesterday morning, he goes, I've heard enough. We're done here. And trying to keep him stay on the call for the rest of the call was just like pulling teeth. And it was a dance party. It wasn't even like they were doing work. It was just a dance party. And it's like, oh, is Miss So-and-so being a really good DJ? And he's like, no. Are we done yet? I was sitting there hoping he was on mute because I felt so bad. I thought the teacher was doing a lovely job. My daughter finishes up on Wednesday, and she's looking forward to being done with Zoom for a while too. I don't know what's going to happen in the fall. I really hope that we're all back in school in the fall, because I don't love this. But we do have our drive-by pre-K graduation on Monday. So I took the day off of work so we can go do that. And we're looking forward to it. I think we'll be able to see his teacher, and she'll be able to kind of give us whatever stuff she has for him. We've got to return school library books, because we haven't been in school since March. And that's what we have got going on this week. So I hope you guys are all finishing up school, are enjoying doing whatever you're doing. I hope your crafting is bringing you so much joy. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.